Have you ever heard of the Norse god of the sea, Aegir? I wouldn't be surprised if you hadn't. He's not an Aesir or Vanir. He is a Jotun, also known as, well, Giant, king of all the seas, feared by sailors for he would sink their ship and steal their cargo. Quite the interesting fellow, married to the personification of the ocean, Ran. He also had 9 daughters, and that'll be our next 2 videos. Now then, Aegir is a significant figure in Norse mythology, and not just because he's the ruler of the seas, not just because he was also known as Aegir, friend to the gods, being a Jotun, whom they, or most likely Thor, would smash, and not like he does his wife, if you catch my meaning. 9 daughters. 9. Would you believe it or not, Aegir here was known for his beer? You've probably heard of this giant, but missed it. Do you remember in Lokasenna when Loki just tore verbally into the gods? That took place in Aegir's Hall. You see, that was the name of it, not just because he was present. It was a place of sanctuary and partying for all the gods. In this hall, he had magical horns that just filled with beer. And in fact, there's lore around the cauldron in which he made it. It was a gift from Thor himself, and what led to his hall being called a place of gold where the beer flows. And how this sea giant became known for his brewing of beer. Don't ask me to explain how he does it underwater. He is a personification of the seas and a representation of all the strength and destruction that comes with that. Just call him a gracious host, take a sip, nod, and enjoy yourself. Now, according to Orkney Yinga Saga, or the Saga of the Orkney Islands, we get a better picture of his family. His father is Fjornjot, king of the north. And he has 2 brothers, Kari, who is a god of the wind, and Loki, who is a god of fire. You may remember him from the saga of Utgard Loki, whom outate regular Loki. It gets confusing. Now then, let's talk about the Norse and how they love their beer and beer snackeries. It's how us on Midgard never got the scurvy when we were out in Aegir Sea, whether dried and salted like a type of cracker or put in the bread. It stretched out the shelf life of their bread. It added much needed nutrient and fought the scurvy. Now the Norse, both past and present, are really into their beer. But you have to understand that back then the ancestors had to deal with unsafe drinking water. With beer being boiled, it was a much safer alternative that came with nutrients they needed to make it through burning those extra calories in the wintertime. And also, since it was distilled, it could last long sea voyages. The 9 realms weren't just about mead. They were actually very into beer as well. And with Aegir being a beer brewer, he was very heavily revered in that regard. And why his beer kettle that was gifted to him by Thor is seen as a symbol of abundance. And in fact, there's a whole story about how Thor got that kettle. You just probably remember it for something different. Do you remember when Thor and the Jotunheimer went on a fishing trip and caught Midgard serpent? Well, almost caught the Midgard serpent, because Heimer cut the line like a big duty head. Would it surprise you if it was because the gods wanted the best beer at the best hall? And well, Tyr remembered that his old man Heimer had the best beer kettle, and if Thor wanted the best beer kettle for the best beer hall, and all under the sea, then he would have to convince Tyr's dad. But you probably remember it as Thor going on a fishing trip with a Jotun and the Midgard serpent. Now then, while it's not specifically stated anywhere, I think there is a stark contrast to be seen in this Norse deity. He is both simultaneously a gracious host and the wrathful, destructive ocean, perhaps highlighting the dichotomy of the ocean itself. But an ever-intriguing, highly respected, and hidden in plain sight deity. Stay tuned tomorrow as we cover his wife Ran, and then eventually his 9 kids, personifications of the waves. Thank you for everyone that's been stating how much they're enjoying this and giving me suggestions and ideas. Heck, just listening and keeping the lore alive. It's date night. I hope you're going to have a good as evening as I am, like Aegir, and I'll see you next time.